Good morning, the Cap Guy here, and in honor of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl win, I'm wearing a vintage Logo 7 ball cap. It's a snapback cap, and it's on eBay. You can buy it now. Now I'm going to take it off because it's a little bit small for my head. I've got 8 going to the post office this morning. Had a good night. One of the things I did last night was I went in and I bulk offered 5% off of anything of the things where I had watchers, and I had about 82, 84 watchers on items. And of course, I have over 2,000 listings. Um, I got some responses, and then I had some things that I didn't have watchers on that, you know, uh, bought them and bought outright. Um, I'll get into those in a minute, but some of the things I wanted to talk about, I've got a couple of people that I'm in Facebook groups with, and they're reselling groups, and some people aren't having good sales opportunities right now. It's January, it's first quarter. After Christmas, everybody's waiting on tax returns and things like that. And one of the things that I thought I'd talk about was understanding some of the lingo when you're selling, and then for those of you who want to get into it, and how to start, and some of the items that you can look for, because there isn't anything that's off limits when you're selling other than restricted articles. But one of the things that I would suggest when you're starting an eBay business is start at home. I mean, if you've got kids and old stuff laying around, I mean, look at the shoes, your boots, things you don't wear anymore, your purses, pocketbooks, if they're in good shape, knickknacks, books that aren't used, or old college study books, SAT preparement exam books, um, jeans, clothes, jackets, jerseys, hats, caps, sporting goods, anything like that. Ink unused, if you've switched printers and you still have the old unused ink, that garners money. Electronics that you don't use anymore, DVD players, especially if it's DVD and VHS. Um, Backpacks, all this stuff that's in good shape can be sold, and you can make money. When I go to the bins, I look for unused ink, I look for blank VHS tapes, I'm looking for anything unused, Christmas cards, Hallmark cards, ornaments, things that people still want, and some of it's very desirable and very valuable. Um, some of the other things is selling not just on eBay, although that's where I primarily sell. I've tried Poshmark and didn't have a lot of success with it. You got to really stay on top of Poshmark and push your sales. Um, Facebook Marketplace, be safe in meeting people. You will have people just like on eBay that don't pay you; they won't meet you. Um, that's not as common, but it does happen. Amazon, if you want to send stuff in, primarily new stuff, you'll have to learn about sales rank and stuff. And a lot of this you can learn by watching YouTube channels, and just tell YouTube what you want to learn, and it'll take you to that. And there's videos just about everything, changing car parts and everything else. So, of course, Poshmark, Macari, Etsy, uh, Craigslist, but be careful of scams on Craigslist. There's a lot of ways to sell stuff, and of course, Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, you won't encounter fees, but you have to meet somebody or have them come to your home and pick it up. Um, some of the things I want to talk about were some of the lingo. When I say comps, I look up the comps. When I'm looking at an item and I'm not familiar with it, I'm looking up the comp. And what that means is I'm going to the item on eBay, I do a search, and I specifically, the better you can give it the RN number or the UPC number, it'll drill down to that specific item. And then you can even filter it to color. But once I get there and I see how many listings there are of that item and I get an idea of value, then I will filter it to the solds. I want to know what it's sold for, not what it's selling for. People will ask sometimes for a Beanie Baby $400 and the same identical one's being sold for $20. So it doesn't mean that's what it's worth. I want to know what people are paying for it. So filter to sold. If it's used, then I also filter the condition to used. I'm not trying to sell something new that's used, because then you're going to get an unhappy customer, and you're going to have to deal with the feedback and the return and the expense there. On returns, I do understand that does happen occasionally. Usually when it happens for me, it's either it didn't fit them, which I do try to put the measurements in all my listings, armpit to armpit, top to bottom, waist, inseam, all those things if they're not already in the listing, and take accurate pictures. Take as many, use the 12 pictures. If you've got 12 pictures available and you need to have that, on a brand new item that's sealed, you're only going to have a couple pictures. But on clothing and stuff, the more pictures of the tags, the condition, front and back, the legs, if they're worn, if it's jeans, all those things matter when people are looking. Make sure you got plenty of light. I'm still perfecting my picture taking, but I've invested a little bit in the camera, in the lighting, and I try to take it on a background that's neutral, a white or a gray background. Comps just means that you're comparing what it sold for, the comparison, and that's what comp means. Buy it now versus auction. I prefer buy it now myself, because I'm getting the impulse buyer. I'm getting somebody that wants to, when you're shopping and you see something you want, and the price is right at the store, you have the impulse to buy it. It's on sale, I'm buying it. Well, that's what I'm shooting for. I want to sell it now, not wait 7 days for an auction to end. The other problem with auctions is, if you have a lot of listings like I do, when they end, you either got to pay fees to relist them, or sometimes it may not be that hot an item. It might be a $3-4 item. And if you don't keep up with that inventory, all of a sudden you'll realize that those items aren't listed, and so they're not out there. And now you've got to go into your unsolds or your inactives, and you find them and relist them. And it just takes a lot of time, especially when you have a lot of listings. And so I really prefer it on an auction. If it's something I think has a lot of value, I'll run it on an auction just to get enough bidders to bid up on it and try to get more money that way. Or if I don't really understand it, or I can't find a comp on it, then I will list it on an auction, because it may be something that's rare. On feedback, you definitely want feedback. You're going to get about 1, maybe 2 in 10 that leave you feedback. I currently have 3,300, and I've been doing this since '04, but only full-time for a year. Actually, a little bit less than a year. Feedback's important, and you want positive feedback. Again, I'm rated highly on my shipping because I ship so fast. I'll even go sometimes 2 times a day if there's enough packages to make sure the customer gets their product quickly. You're competing with Amazon, and so you want to try to make as much impact as you can on your customer service satisfaction. As far as accounts, PayPal is the common payment method, and most people will use PayPal. eBay is going away from that to manage payments. I won't get into that on this video. It would take all day, but it has its pros and cons as well. But eBay will manage that money versus PayPal when it happens. Some of the larger sellers are on it now, and I've actually asked to be on it. It has, again, negatives, but it has a lot of positives too. So now I'll get into the things I sold yesterday. Actually, 2 of these sold while I was sleeping tonight, or last night, I should say. The first one is an Oklahoma City Yard Dog ball cap I found down at the bins. I have 18 cents invested in it, and I sold it for $10 plus shipping, and that's actually staying in Oklahoma. The next thing I sold was this Melissa Paige blouse. I had went to a yard sale last year, and the gentleman's wife had a boutique, and in this boutique, They had, well, actually about 3 boutiques, a couple in Texas and one here in Oklahoma. As you can see, this was originally like $58. I got them for $2 a piece, but they're not really known brands. Melissa Paige isn't a top end brand, but for $2 a piece, they were all brand new with tags. I decided to buy them, and I bought about, I think I got about 35 of them, and they're different styles. But I paid $2 a piece. I've had them on there since summer, so I'm trying to move them now. This one sold for $7.50 plus shipping, and so I didn't make a lot on it, but I got rid of it. And again, you're trying to move your inventory, make space for new inventory, and hopefully things that will make more money. The next item I sold was an MTV. This is a good story. MTV vintage spring break hat, and it's kind of a I guess a sun cap or a beach hat's what you'd call it, but it's from 1998, and I found it at the bins. And the bins, I find a lot of vintage caps, Ralph Lauren polo with leather straps, things like that, where I live. But this hat was so cool, I really didn't want to get rid of it, but the value of it I knew was going to be pretty high. I had sold a MTV shirt from the 90s that I had for $46 with bleach stains and holes in it. So I knew this had value, and I started out at $49. It's been on there since summer, and I've had a lot of watchers on it, but nobody ever took the time to purchase it. And yesterday I got an email from a gentleman in Massachusetts and said, I really want to buy this, but I need it by Saturday because I'm going to an event, and I don't know what that event is, but he wants to wear it. And I said, well, it'll ship on Thursday. Saturday it should make it priority mail. It'll be about $8, and but I can't guarantee it because it is Boston and I'm in Oklahoma. So I said, you could go next day, but that's going to cost you, around $30. He thought about it, and he finally came back and said, I got to have it. So it's my first next day sale. Of course, he paid for it, and I sold it for $46.50. I had 18 cents invested. So that's what I would call a home run. Again, it's a cap I liked a lot, and I didn't want to get rid of it, but I'm in this to make money, not to collect hats. The next item is a lady's capris. They're 14s. They're Levi, and I've had these for a little while. I had $4 invested, and I sold them for $15 plus shipping. And those will go priority in a flat rate envelope. That's how I ship all my jeans, flat rate envelope. I don't have to worry about the poundage because jeans weigh 1.5 pounds typically. And a flat rate envelope cost me $6.94 with my discounts by shipping on eBay. The next item I sold, and this was part of a lot deal. About 2 weeks ago, I bought in a thrift store. There was a lady that gets stuff in, and she has some pretty good stuff sometimes. And we usually wheel and deal on it's not a typical thrift store where you got to pay the price. She always makes me a deal. She's a prison ministry, and so we haggle. And she had 3 pair of Oakley sunglasses and a pair of these Varney. Yeah, they're French women's sunglasses. And she also had 3 graphic calculators. 2 of them didn't have any value. She threw them in, but there was a TI-83 in there, Texas Instruments, and it's worth about $30. So I knew that the Oakleys in these Vornays had a little bit of value. I'd looked them up, and I paid $75 for the whole lot plus tax, and I sold them last night for $69 plus shipping. I made almost my money back, minus fees. I still got a little ways to go, but on one of the Oakleys, it's on an auction, and I have a $40 bid on it currently, and I have about 6 watchers on it, so I expect that to go up. The other 2 pair of Oakleys also have watchers on them, but no bids yet. And I think those in tomorrow. And they're men's. These were women's. That was a good sale. The next thing I found, and I bought this at Goodwill locally here in the city I live in. The other day I saw them. They were $3.93. They were vintage and brand new in the package though. Koss headphone earplugs. They're called Music Pals, but they're for a KMP5, and they were retro, as you can see. I mean, look at the lady on there. She's definitely 80s. And anyway, I paid $3.93, and I sold them the same day I listed them for $20 plus shipping. So not a bad little flip there. And I'll continue on. I sold some starting lineup figures. These are NCAA. They include Charlie Batch, who played for the Lions later. They're NCAA ones, so it's their colleges. Warwick Dunn and Mark Brunell. I bought these in a lot as well. I paid $1 a piece for them, and I'm getting down to just a few left. I got some baseball and some NBA ones still, but sold them for $12 plus shipping. Those will go priority in a box. Like I said, I had $1 a piece in them, but I've had them for a while. I probably won't do a lot of figures anymore. They take up a lot of room, and I just don't make a lot on them. That's one thing I will stay away from, unless they're really high-end figures are sought after. And the last thing I sold, and again, I didn't make hardly anything on this, but it's a Oklahoma City Thunder women's tank top. Doing Fine is the manufacturer, and it's just a basic Oklahoma City, but it's going to Portland, so I don't think those people up there are going to like them wearing a Thunder tank top living in Portland. But hey, I live in Oklahoma, and I'm a Texas Longhorn fan, so what do you get? There it is right there. So I paid $3.99 or $2.99, I'm sorry, for it in a thrift store, and I sold it for $7.50 with shipping on top. So again, not a great flip, but it's one of those things that's gone. And I'm going to be going to the post office here shortly. I like to go early in the morning, and that leaves me time to do other things I'm still working on in my death pile. I listed over probably 60 things yesterday, so I've got well over 2,000 listings, as I said earlier, and it's kicking me, but I want to get this stuff caught up, and I want to get it all organized. I've been buying some more storage drawers, and I'm going to reorganize again my room. You're always spending time doing that kind of stuff, and that's just part of the game. And it's like having your own retail store. You're the stocker, you're the price marker, you're the salesman, you're the shipper. When you do this, you're at all. Unless you have help, it's on you. But could definitely run a retail store. I've done enough of this. So y'all have a great day, and please make comments, ask questions. Again, tell me what you want to see or hear. Please like and subscribe and share. I'm really wanting to get some subscribers, but I want people to watch for the content. I want them to see how much you can make. And by the way, the numbers were 8 items sold between yesterday after I went to the post office and this morning's 2 items that I sold. 8 items, $32.28 invested, and $186.75 in sales. So after fees, I should clear probably $140, and cost of goods would take it down to about $110. So again, not bad. I'll take that. $100 a day, doing what I like, setting my own schedule, and I enjoy the sourcing more than any part of it, as I've said many times. That's the fun part. If I could do that only, I would really love this, but then I'd probably would have to have a warehouse. Again, have a great day and stay safe, and tune in tomorrow.